That's a hard line, Jim. It's just a hard thing to even just step into that nuclear reactor. I mean, in terms of some of the other ones today, it's good to see you back on there. You're running the universe, talking about the stock market, jumping in your time machine last week, taking a look at Boeing, some rumblings, some wave functions in the game, more than likely. And I had a note about the wave function in the silver coin about the Z coin relative to the age notation of the pandemic being relative to end on April to the Bitcoin $1 trillion index based on the meme stock and potentials of once that meme kicked over, there's an undercurrent, which I love the term for it. That operator starts to change out. I'm going to need to buy 2 boxes, otherwise, coins there. Otherwise, I'm not going to have enough to keep this business in continuance. And that's going to direct equation any of those other businesses that hadn't factored it into this time yet, because then their R&D and development for that educational home core model. Because as an IT for that company's design, you've learned it from me, and therefore I'm kind of responsible for the insurance on all that stuff, that you give me a phone call first before we indicate that. And then that's just a natural relationship between the differential of when you separate that out. Well, I don't want that because it is a governmental thing. When I say governments don't have the business, you have to look at this from the standpoint of what happened at one point in time is a very business savvy person got in charge of the economic military machine that says the X, Y, and Z start to go in that way. However, over a series of adjustments of group set marshmallows on T notes is going to distend that into the Egyptian pyramid structure, and Cleopatra sitting out here closer to COVID than the pyramid builds. And how that might look like some of the function in there for the eschatology under the situation. Now, the adjustment of that standard, it gets into some marine based stuff. If everybody goes through the Greek meat grinder, we can really comprehend if that truly is worth it. You can certainly share that index at any point in time, but we need a realistic matter of which teams can actually function that. And out of that, really, to have a cloud based system, there's a team member in there specifically I'm looking for. That one, because that's that undercurrent when I'm catching Boeing, when I catch, for the Z coin on the housing engineering build. Are we making sure we doing that? Is that a NSNBC, CNBC version of like, well, that's kind of what we were doing, but now we want to readjust that model because that gives us the true nature under physics for what that does in terms of a business mathematics that you want to put into, regardless universally how that indicator works in physics. Whoa, we got a problem. It's a negative, it's a positive, and generally we catch that real fast relative to operations that distend beyond that standard limit. And again, that's going to correlate to some dead body count. That is literally a file under the number because we have it in a census growth on a inversion all the way left to the right. Right to the left. So you get into kind of some of those points that the global warming guy is talking about, and you get locked up because that's the nature of that. And once a rabbit sees that, you can kind of live on the double diamonds as that high territory, and you can catch somebody with like that's a double diamond number, but for you it's going to be most generally a bunny path system because of how operating they are. But that was one inside of this topology that generally created a destabilization, or I didn't factor the swing cycle of that star, that neutron star, that pulsar. Kind of obvious, it's coming at you a bad day, a little warm, nicer here, and then it just got all mad at me about stuff. Whoa. And that could be a Bowen stock right there. And I was like, there it was, and then didn't want to do that. I wanted it to kind of buy a little bit here, fractalize it. They're not just one bricks right now. They're actually long-term operations. And if I kind of caught you on the board like that, I'm going to put some real estate in some stock about some Palantir team. We're going to break off a division on that because it is the military. I'm going to grab me a unit because I'm checking their systems. And whether it's this one over here in this topology, Russia, China, or otherwise, when they ask me to do the fucking job, guess what I'm going to do? Like, every time.